This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the best online retailer for Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product, and GatheringMagic.com, the #1 source for Magic the Gathering news and content. Now it's time for our latest video with Alan Pennington.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Deck Tech. Today we're looking at Legacy Dredge, and last week we actually took a look at Standard Dredge, but in Legacy, the Dredge deck actually plays Dredge cards. These are the main ones here. Dredge has been around for a while. It's been a very powerful strategy historically, but if you're not familiar with how it works, we're basically trying to put our entire deck into the graveyard, at which point we should have won. You might even win before that, depending on what you mill. But these are the main guys. The Dredge mechanic is, if you're going to draw a card, you can put one of your Dredgers from your graveyard into your hand and then mill however many. So Grave-Troll's the best one because he's Dredge 6, Stinkweed Imp's Dredge 5, and then Golgari Thug is Dredge 4. So we've got these guys here. And, well, what goes along with these? The main things are all of these cheap draw effects. So with Breakthrough, for example, it'll let us draw 4, but if we have, say, 4 Golgari Grave-Trolls in our hand, it'll actually mill us 24, which is pretty ridiculous. So yeah, we've got Careful Study and Faithless Looting, which are both similar. We got Breakthrough, which is the best one because it draws 4. And then we've got our Dredgers here, and the main card that makes this deck really do anything is Bridge from Below, which is when a creature's put from your battlefield into your graveyard, you get a 2/2 token. And if a creature's put from your opponent's battlefield into their graveyard, you exile Bridge from Below. And that's if Bridge from Below is in your grave. Casting it doesn't actually do anything. So the idea is we're going to mill a bunch of cards. Then we have these cards here. We have Narcomoeba, which when it's milled, you just put it right into play. And Ichorid you can put into play during your upkeep by exiling a black creature from your grave. So we get these guys into play. We have a Bridge from Below in our grave. And then we're going to need some way to sack these guys to make a bunch of tokens. And one way is to use the flashback of Cabal Therapy. The main way is to use the flashback of Dread Return. You'll see that my list is not really organized by mana cost or anything. Over here on the end we have what's our win con. We have Dread Return, getting back Flame-Kin Zealot. So the idea is you're going to Dread Return, sack 3 creatures. You'll have 2 Bridge from Belows in your grave. So that'll make 6 tokens. The tokens will come in first, then the Flame-Kin will come into play. It'll give everything +1/+1 in haste. Then that's going to be 7 times 3, which is 21 damage. Of course, you can do even more if you have more Bridge from Belows in your grave. But that's basically how it works. So you got your enablers over here, your draw spells. You've got your Dredgers. You've got your creatures that you're going to bring back from your grave. You've got your Bridge from Below, because that's the most important card of all. You've got Cabal Therapy, gives you a nice sack outlet and a bit of disruption if you need it. And then we've got our win cons. Sounds pretty straightforward. It can get a bit more complicated in the actual games. As far as the mana base, since I haven't really explained that, we have 9 lands that tap for anything. Gemstone Mine's the best because it doesn't require us to pay life, and we're never going to need to use it more than 3 times anyway. And then we have Mana Confluence and City of Brass, which are essentially the same card. Mana Confluence is slightly better because if they Rashad import our Mana Confluence, we don't take a damage, whereas we do if they Rashad import our City of Brass, but that's, you know, very corner case scenario. They're essentially the same card. Then we have Cephalid Coliseum, which only taps for blue, but the threshold ability is very useful. It's a draw 3, discard 3. So it's pretty awesome because it's a land that'll let us cast, our Careful Study and our Breakthrough. But then after we do that, next turn we can just use the threshold ability and then do another draw 3, which is pretty ridiculous. So we've got 13 lands total. But then we've also got Lion's Eye Diamond, which is a card you'll probably see me play a lot in Legacy. I like it quite a bit. Here it is very good because discard your whole hand aspect of the card can often be an upside. And we're mainly using it to do the flashback on our Faithless Looting. So we can crack Lion's Eye Diamond, you know, discard all our dredgers, and then flashback Faithless Looting, and then, you know, dredge 10 or 12 cards, which is pretty awesome. So the deck can be very fast. It's going to win most of your game ones. Might lose game one to a faster combo deck, or an opponent who starts with, you know, a Deathrite Shaman or a Scavenging Ooze on the play or something. But sometimes you can even beat those cards, which is pretty nice. It's a little bit difficult to explain the entire strategy. It's kind of one of those things where you just need to see it play some games. But the hand that we're looking to start with is going to have a mana source, some dredgers in our hand, and some of these enablers here. Pretty straightforward. The deck will mulligan very aggressively. It is possible to win on, you know, mulligans to 4 or something. So if we don't really have all these pieces, if we don't have the mana source, the enabler, and the dredger, we're going to send it back. As far as matchups go, pretty much all of the fair decks in the format are good matchups. There are some exceptions. Sometimes a timely Forcible can mess us up, but in general, we're not really concerned with counter spells too much. When we're going for the win, we can flashback Cabal Therapy to make sure our Dread Return doesn't get countered. So any of those decks are pretty good. I'm mainly just worried about like faster combo decks. Things like Reanimator and Sneak and Show can be hard because they can go off fairly early, in some cases as early as turn 2, but they also have the Force of Wills and stuff to disrupt our plays. So that can be difficult, but generally it's a deck that can fight through a lot and is just very powerful in game 1. Moving on to the board, we have Leyline of Void, which we're never going to be casting, but it comes in against, of course, other graveyard-related strategies, Reanimator, other Dredge decks, pretty much whatever. You can bring it in against Past and Flames decks too, but it's not always a good idea. We have Street Wraith, which is an interesting card. Some people will play it in their main deck, some people will play it in their sideboard, some people won't play it at all. And basically while we're playing it, it is the only 0 mana instant speed draw effect that I am aware of that is good. So basically the idea behind this is that it is the best counter to Deathrite Shaman, because you put, say, your Grave-Troll in the grave, then they might go to Deathrite it, and in response you cycle Street Wraith and dredge it, and their Deathrite does nothing. So basically just our counter to Deathrite Shaman. Works against like Surgical Extraction too, for the same reason. They go to surgically extract your guy, you Street Wraith, add it back to your hand, and then their Surgical Extraction does nothing. So it fights off a lot of the soft graveyard hate, like Deathrite and Surgical Extraction, really well. So that's basically what it's there for. And of course, once it's in your grave, it's a black card that you can exile to bring back Ichorid, which is sweet too. Then for our hard graveyard hate, we have 3 Nature's Claim. Hits, you know, your typical Tormod's Crypt, Rest in Peace, Relic of Progenitus. Keep in mind, you're only going to bring this in when you're 100% sure they're bringing in graveyard hate. So typically, it might be that you win game 1, lose game 2 to some hate card, and then after knowing what their hate card is, you can figure out which of these to board in. There is a bit of a risk of boarding in a card like Nature's Claim, because it doesn't actually further your strategy at all. Doesn't do anything while it's in the graveyard, of course. So that's just something to keep in mind. Some people will not even bother like cards like this at all. They'll just hope that their opponent doesn't draw any of their sideboard hate. So that's an option too. There are a lot of theories on how to play Dredge. It is kind of complicated, so this isn't a card that you necessarily have to board, but it is fairly common. You'll also see people using cards like Chain of Vapor, because you can't cast Nature's Claim off of Cephalid Coliseum, but you can cast Chain of Vapor. So that's an option too. Just test, figure out what you're losing against, and then decide what kind of hate you want. We have Darkblast, which is just kind of a random one of. It's, of course, a Dredge 3, which is good. It's nice against like things like Elves. You can just kill their guys, and then meanwhile keep dredging it back and killing more guys. Keep in mind, you can't even do some tricks to like get rid of Deathrite Shaman. Say it's in your hand and your opponent doesn't have black mana up. What you do is, in your upkeep, you Darkblast their Deathrite. Then in your draw step, you dredge Darkblast back, and then Darkblast it again. So that'll be -2/-2 in total. And then you kill their Deathrite, and you dredged 3. So that's just wanted to keep that in mind. Then we've got Firestorm, which is sort of the catch-all against creature-based strategies. Of course, in order to cast it, you have to discard a bunch of cards, but we don't care about that because we're playing Dredge. And then it just nukes the board, which is pretty cool. Kind of a 1-mana Plague Wind in a sense. Not quite, but it can be that sometimes. That's pretty much it. I already went over matchups already. This is one of those decks that can be pretty complicated to play, but at the same time, you can often just get unlucky and just have your opponent draw a bunch of graveyard hate cards. So I guess we'll see how the matches play out, and hopefully you'll get your own impression of the deck. Welcome to round number 1. As you may be aware, we are on Dredge. Our opponent started off with a mulligan to 6, and Dredge can generally mulligan pretty aggressively, so I'm going to send this one back. Oh yeah, this seems fine actually. I'm going to keep this. So he kept a 6, and looks like I am too. So Probe could indicate a lot of things. He could be on some sort of combo deck. He also could just be on like Rug Delver. Sometimes decks like that will play Probe. Huh, Windswept Heath. Huh. I'm actually not sure where this is. So we got 2 Dredgers, which is good. They are Golgari Thugs are the weakest. They only dredge 4, but it's still pretty good. Noble Hierarch. So I guess it's Bant. Like just oh no, it's Infect. Ooh. Okay, the Inkmoth Nexus definitely indicates he's on Infect. Just gonna try to not die, I guess. Hopefully we can like mill a Narcomoeba or something. Luckily our life total doesn't matter since he's playing Infect, but I'm gonna break through for X equals 1. So we're gonna dredge Stinkweed Imp first, then Golgari Thug, and we hit a Narcomoeba, which is good. Then another Golgari Thug, and then hopefully we hit another Dredger. Looks like we did not. That's unfortunate. So I guess I'm going to... We milled... Faithless... Okay, yeah, I'm going to keep everything except... I mean, we're going to discard all of these, obviously. I'm just thinking which land I want to keep. Is the life or the counter going to be... I guess there's no way that life will be relevant in this game. Can't imagine. So yeah, sure. We'll discard the... well, we need one for Faithless Coliseum. Alright, I guess... Yeah, let's get rid of the Gemstone Mine. Like I said, I don't think it'll be relevant. Also got to keep track of our bridges. Right now we have 0 bridges. As far as I'm aware anyways. Yeah, we have 0 bridges. Faithless Dread Return, Cabal Therapy. Maybe we can like Cabal Therapy naming like Invigorate or something, but you know, these things do have flying, so we actually can block the Nexus. Let's see, is 1 mana up. Invigorates are free, of course. I guess yeah, I'm just gonna chump. I don't want to like risk it. Him just like double invigorating me for game or something. Stifle my Ichorid. Okay, I'm fine with that. So we'll dredge Stinkweed Imp. And hit some more Ichorids and no more Dredgers, unfortunately. See, I guess I'll just flashback Faithless Looting this turn. Okay, he's gonna daze. That puts me in a tough spot. We do have Bridge from below now. Yeah, I'm just gonna say go again, I guess. So I'll exile Golgari Thug. I'm just gonna exile 2 Golgari Thugs and just not use the other Ichorid. Oh, I guess we can do that. We can have Ichorids exile other Ichorids. And that's enough. Just we just want enough to be able to cast Dread Return. And we got 2 Narcomoebas. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. I misclicked my my combat phase. Somewhat awkward. So I guess I'm going to do this. Yeah, and so we actually could have killed him this turn. I just accidentally clicked to my attack step. So yeah, we've got some Cabal Therapies, so I'm just gonna use all those. I guess Berserk is probably the most important one since it gives this guy trample. Alright, he's just gonna concede. But for the record, we did have that game won that turn. As far as we know, there's nothing he can really bring in against this. I mean, there's plenty of stuff he can bring in against us, but nothing that I specifically know that he'll be bringing in against us. I do like Darkblast against this strategy. He's playing a bunch of 1/1s and it dredges, so I'm definitely going to like bring in Darkblast over Golgari Thug. It's just a question of whether we want to bring anything else, like whether we suspect he's bringing in some sort of graveyard hate. There's different ways to combat that. Like, I don't think this deck plays Deathrite, although, like, it might have something like Scavenging Ooze in the board, I'm not sure. So, like, Firestorm would take care of the creature-based hate. Nature's Claim would take care of the artifact or enchantment-based hate. But as far as we know, there isn't any of that. And then Street Wraith can be used, like, in response to hate to mill, too, which is, like, kind of cool. But since we don't know what he's bringing in, like, I don't want to bring in, like, Nature's Claim and just have it be completely useless, so I think for game 2, I'm just going to board the Darkblast. And, hopefully if he's bringing in Graveyard Hate, he just, doesn't draw it. This hand's fine. We've got mana enablers and dredgers, so it's not like an insane hand or anything. Huh, turn 1 Brainstorm. That's kind of weird. Just Tropical Island Brainstorm. That doesn't seem like a very good brainstorm. I'll go ahead and Careful Study. Discard 2 Thugs again. Looking about the same as last game here. Oh, so that guy can't be blocked. It's not good. So yeah, I'm pretty much just going to do the, Daze is a thing. So it's just a question of how much we want to break through for. Daze is a thing, Force is a thing. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna break through for 0. That way we can pay for Daze if he has it. Troll, Imp, and another Troll. So that was a pretty good run there. So now we just have to hope he doesn't, like, kill us or have Tormod's Crypt. I mean, Infect is definitely a deck that can kill early, can kill on turn 3. Can even kill turn 2. Alright, so we're going to try to go off on our turn 3 here. And yeah, we've got plenty of thugs, so we can just exile 2 thugs. So yeah, we should just be able to mill ourselves out. We can Cabal Therapy naming Forceful and then just win. Alright, so yeah, that's a lot of guys. Let me make sure I don't click to my attack step again. That would be awkward. So we're gonna Cabal Therapy him. And yeah, of course we have all of our bridges in our graves. That is quite okay. He's just conceding, I guess. We did have that one. Alright, Alan Pennington with Gathering Magic. Thanks for watching.